Okay. Hi. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I want to welcome you from wherever you are around the world and whoever is watching online. And I want to also welcome and applaud all the people that show up on Sunday morning so we can celebrate and create that energy of love and light and celebration. So thank you for being here. Yay! The Center for Spiritual Living in St. Louis, Missouri believes that life is divine and that we are here together as a community to awaken to our magnificence. And we're here also together, not only with everybody in this room, but with everybody in this philosophy around the world to create a world that works for everyone. That's everyone. That's the mission of the Centers for Spiritual Living. And when we get in touch with that divine essence within, we can create the world that works for everyone. So I'm just glad that you're here, and I want to invite you all to come into Scott Hall. Today is Connection Sunday. The second Sunday of the month is Potluck Sunday, and we call it Connection Sunday. We were doing it every week, and it was just too much. So we went to once a month, and this is the day. So come on in, and we'll see who brought a pot and share it and enjoy it. If you forgot this month, we have another month coming up. So come on in, and Larry brought enough for at least 3 people, I think. He was cooking this morning. There are a few announcements today. Who's doing announcements? What? Okay. Come on up here, Larry. This is probably one of the biggest things that we are doing here at CSL for this year. Cora and her husband Chris are musicians, and Cora decided that she wanted to help Ukraine. How many of you know that the Ukraine people are kind of being decimated and that they really need help, all the refugees? Well, she put together a festival to benefit Ukraine. It's going to be on Saturday, June 25th, 1 to 7 p.m. out in our parking lot. Tickets are only $25. You can buy one for yourself and buy one for your family or other people, or just make a donation so that Ukraine gets a little bit more help. I like to see at least a couple $1,000s coming from this going over to Ukraine. So the day of the event, bring a lawn chair, and if you love to be in service, you can sign up in the lobby. We have a couple more slots where you can join the team and be in service. We have 6 people for each period, which is a 2-hour slot, and then a period for people that can stay afterwards and help clean up, and people that just during the event will take the trash cans that are filled and take the bag and put it somewhere. We don't know where yet, but in your car. No, okay. And if you're available Friday, June 18th, we'll be doing yard work to get ready for the festival so that there are no more sticks and unsightly weeds around, I guess. That's a Garden Angel thing. So if you like that, please come on Friday. No, is it Friday, June 18th? I thought it was Saturday. Yeah, that's a typo. Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, June 18th. Okay. If you want to be trained to use the credit card machine before the festival so you can help take money, please see Michelle. Can you stand up, Michelle? She'll be in the bookstore, and Michelle is also looking for people to help in the bookstore. So if you want to go in and be trained to use the credit card, that's what you need to know the most, how to take their money, how to swipe, yeah, how to swipe and sell things. So I want to thank Michelle. She's going to be going on vacation, and she's been working. She's here every single Tuesday working, and almost every Sunday doing the bookstore. So thank you, Michelle. Let's give her a hand for that. Okay. So we're going to have food, we're going to have drinks, we're going to have a raffle that day. A lot of people have been donating items for the raffle, and restaurants have, and Cora's in charge of that. But if you know of something or a company that would like to donate, please let me know and I'll put you in touch with Cora. And it's just a big way to help the refugees in Ukraine. People say, how can I help? Well, this is one way. buy a ticket to the concert, and you're helping somebody else. All the musicians are donating their time. Bob and Pookie are going to be there. Yeah. Tim Lilly's going to be there. Deborah Sharn and Tim Sullivan are going to be there. I mean, look at the flyer out there, and if you want to take a flyer and hang it somewhere near you, if you have a grocery store or a Panera's, go and do that, or hand it out to friends. I mean, we often say, I'd like to help in a bigger way, and we don't know what to do. This is an opportunity to do it, even if you buy a ticket and give it away. So anyway, I'm excited. Remember, it's June 25th. Speaking of having it in the parking lot, did I see David Flo just walk in? Oh, would you come up here? David Flo is on the Leadership Council. He's the head of Building and Grounds, and I'm turning the microphone over to you, David.
Okay, well, my only job right now is to keep control of this balloon. And so you might be wondering why I have this balloon is because we have just reached a momentous, I guess, goal that we started, which many of you have talked about for years, called repaving the parking lot. And so I want to tell you that it hasn't been just a walk in the park, because after you interview 4 contractors and they have bids from $26,000 to $84,000, and then we ask people, well, what are you going to do about filling that hole up that you could fall in and never be found again down in the drain? And then we had bids from, I don't know, $600 or $700 up to $8,000. And so, and we always wonder what people are really going to deliver when they write their contract. You know, we just don't know. And fortunately, we had 2 really good references on that, and actually Skip Olson, I believe, found these folks that we eventually decided to use, and he had references from 2 other businesses that had used this company. So we've stepped forward and we set this goal, and they have promised they're going to have it done for the concert. So that's going to be really exciting. And so what I'd like to do is I brought myself some cue cards, and since and I'm only going to use one of them, but basically what I'd like you to do is step in with me for this moment where we can be sort of a mastermind group together on this. And basically we've accepted a bid for $43,000 to be able to do it, and that includes the hole. So it's a pretty good situation. So essentially I'm going to do this thing that we would do in a mastermind group, where I'm going to state something I want, and then I'd like you, as part of my mastermind group, to step in and repeat kind of a little mantra. And so basically the goal is pave our CSL parking lot goal for $43,000 on or before June 25th. Important, 2022. And so what I want you all to say, I honor and support this goal, and so it is. I honor and support this goal, and so it is. And so that is a powerful thing. And so you can make donations toward this. Next time I show up, I'm going to have my infamous thermometer to show you the progress that we're making. And so you'll probably see me a few times over the next couple of weeks doing that. At any rate, that's where we are on it. So thank you.
Thank you. So we did hire this company, and they did the sinkhole first. We wanted to see if they could do a good job. And as far as we know, it's not sinking anymore. So we hired them to do the blacktop and new bumper guards and new stripes and everything for the 25th. So when people show up for the Ukraine Festival, it will not look like a haunted house. And I want to also thank the people over the years that had donated to the parking lot. We used that money to keep the holes covered better. And finally, we ran out of that money, and the holes got out of hand. So thank you, David, for that. And so we're putting $22,000 down for them to start, which came from some select donors that have donated to the center. And then we're looking at 22,000 left. Yes, good. And we have 90 days to give them the rest of it, 22,000. No company ever does that, and they're doing it for us. So we have 90 days to get them the rest of the money. So I want to thank all of you that are sitting there going, okay, how much can I give towards the parking lot? So we only need 20 people to give $1,000. You know? That's not much. And then we only need one person to give 20,000. And Marcia says we only need 4 people to get 5,000. So, you know, you can play math games all day, which I like to do. Or 40 people for $500. I mean, anyway, I'm excited that it's getting done, and I want to thank you and the Leadership Council and everybody that gave so many hours to figuring this out and hiring a contractor. Let's give them all a hand. Oh, wow. Pardon me?
I will pledge 1,000.
All right. Thank you. That's Kathy Cunningham, 1,000 here. Okay, do I have 2,000? Thank you so much. She gave her first 1,000. All right.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Kathy. Anybody else?
What? All right. So think about it, and you might want to surprise David and put it in the offering plate. Reverend Larry has a class coming up called Living the Untethered Life from the book by Michael Singer. It's a new book, Living the Untethered Life. It starts Monday, June 27th. It's from 4:30 to 6:30. It's on Zoom, and it goes for 4 weeks. We have the books in the bookstore, the ones called Living the Untethered Life. It's his newest book. Larry, would you just come up and say something about it? Why would someone want to take that, or what would they learn? Or
I wouldn't take it, but you're on? Okay. So the class is really about what he's been teaching for a long time. That is Michael Singer. And how did he get up there? So it's about how you actually live the principles he's talking about. And if you've read any of his other books, he's basically saying the same thing as Science of Mind is saying in a very updated way. And so it's got a lot of chapters in it, and they're usually about 2 or 3 pages long. So it's a quick read. So we'll read it, and we'll go through maybe 4 or 5 chapters at a time until we get to the real meat. And when we get there, we're going to spend more time on that, which is really the essence of the practice. So it's on Zoom, so it'll be easy for you to get to. I'll drive around the block, and we'll be fine.
Thank you, Larry.
We're only taking 100 registrations.
Thank you. There is going to be a goddess regathering from the Women's Retreat this Thursday, June 16th at 7 p.m. at my home in Chesterfield. And the people who graduated from the goddess retreat in 2019 are also invited. And it's at 7 o'clock. And if you haven't told me you're coming, there is a sign-up sheet out in the lobby, and you can see if your name's on it. We need help in the bookstore second and third Sundays for just half an hour from 12 to 12:30. Michelle will train you. Okay. Well, we could also use more people that know how to do the credit card machine for the Ukraine event too. Yeah, thank you. In fact, I think I'm going to get trained. I put off getting trained in everything, because once you get trained, you got to do it. There's African violets out in the lobby and bracelets for Ukraine that Anna and Jared left here for us. And one of the special announcements that it's almost hard to tell you, some of you may know and some may not, Bridget Kaiser, that amazing singer, passed away last Sunday afternoon. And there's going to be a special concert memorial for her on June 23rd 5:30 to 8:30. It's at 5200 Shrewsbury Avenue. And the request is to wear tie-dyed clothes because she loved them, bring a dish, and all the musicians are going to sing and do a concert to celebrate her life. And we'll put it in the Robley this week also if you forget. You'll be able to see it in person if you get the Robley. If you don't get our weekly ad, sign up in the lobby so Larry can put you on the Robley list. Thank you. Robley's an email program that comes out once a week. And now for the opening prayer. You think Robley was a guy?
Good morning, CSL. How are you guys? Isn't this place awesome? Yes, yes. It is, because, you know, every day is not easy. Every day is not a picnic. But some days are challenging. And when that happens, leaning on these ideas, remembering the truth is so important and helps so much. And that's what we do when we pray and when we take this time to connect with Spirit as a group, not just by ourselves, and hold common ideas that we are going to manifest. And, you know, I've been thinking so much about CSL and just revitalizing and getting our youth program and doing all these things. I've wanted to see it come to fruition so much, and I see it happening now. And I see it by getting more people, more volunteers, more events, more groups, and I hope you will all hold this vision with me. Also, I'm on a personal healing journey, like we all are, but I've really been working it and really been focusing it. And today when I pray, I'm going to pray for one of the most simple, biggest things you can do, and that's for self-healing and self-love. Because when you have that, you're taking care of one of the problems, right? One problem starts with us, starts with me, starts with me. So take a breath. Close your eyes. Let's hold, while we're healing ourselves and blessing ourselves, we're blessing everyone we love and we're connected to. And that's everybody. That's all of us. We are one love. One love and one light, one God, one treasure, one amazing river of consciousness that flows in and through our lives, works like magic, feels like joy and love and abundance, sunshine. And I just am so grateful for this power and this presence that is my very life right now, all of our very lives. That we are blessed with love, and that we can start with one small act of love today. We'll love ourselves. We'll love ourselves as much as we possibly can and just fill ourselves with love. And then when we meet another person, we give that love to them. We take them with us as we heal and as we skyrocket into the next station of being. As we move on through this life, we take everyone with us and raise that vibration one heart at a time. And it starts with us, and I'm starting right now, right here, making a declaration that CSL is abundant, prosperous, full of new souls, full of fun, full of events, full of healing. And I thank you for this wonderful place and these wonderful people, and for this healing that is so complete, whole, full of joy. All of the things that are going on in the world can be helped if we help ourselves and if we love ourselves. And I do that. I love us. I love you. I love me. I love this universe. And I send that love out in a constant stream of intention to spread it as much as possible. Knowing that these words are so and true and absolutely being revealed at this very moment, I release those words and I say thank you, and so it is. Whew, hallelujah.
Good morning, I'm Diane Grayson, and I'm not the improvisational performer that my husband is, but I'm going to read the thought for the day. The greatest discovery in life is to discover that our essential nature does not share the limits nor the destiny of the body and mind, by Rupert Spira.
So James is an improvisational performer? Oh, I didn't know it. Well, we have a new connection now, James.
Cat's out of the bag.
You're gonna be up here doing the sermon summary one of these days.
So awesome.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Hello, everyone.
That's
look at all
Pookie and I'm
these
Bob.
beautiful
In case you
faces.
wanted to know.
So wonderful to be here with all of you. It's so beautiful to see the room beginning to fill again, you know, as we get to come and gather and exchange our hearts one to another. So wonderful.
And we have a brand new song we're going to be debuting a little bit later when we're back up here, but right now we're going to do one that's been around for a few years. You may have heard it before, but it's a good
Maybe.
one. You have so many questions, who, why, and where. You're searching for the answers, but they are not there. You feel so uncertain, what is the truth? You look for the solution outside of you.
You've got to clear your mind.
Clear your mind.
And go inside.
And go inside.
And in good time, you will find
the answers in you.
the answer is you. You want to live a full life, but you don't know how. And you grow so impatient, you want it all now. Oh, where are all the secrets? They've got to be here. No matter how hard you look, they are nowhere near. You've got to clear your mind.
Clear your mind.
And go inside.
And go inside.
And in good time, you will find
the answers in you.
the answer is you.
There is no limitation to what you can
do. If you dream it and perceive it, if you truly can conceive it, if you know it and believe it, it has to come true.
The answer is you.
The answer is you.
You have so many questions.
So many questions.
You have so many questions.
So many questions.
Oh, well, you have so many questions.
So many questions.
You have so many questions.
So many questions. You got to clear your mind.
Clear your mind.
And go inside.
And go inside.
And in good time, you will find
the answer is you.
Oh yeah, the answer, it is you. It is you.
We said the answer is you.
It's true. I wouldn't lie to you. I mean, really, you are the answer. It's in you. It's
The
inside of
answer
you.
is
It's
you.
in you. It's in you. It's in you and you and you and you
said the
and you too.
answer
Yes.
is you.
It's in you. All of you.
Pookie, where's the answer?
The answer is in you. It's so true. So true. I hope you find it.
Good morning. Let's stand up and greet people. Say hi to somebody you haven't talked to or seen, or somebody new. Yeah. Yay. All right. Great, thank you. Come on back. Have a seat. Hello. Come on back. Have a seat. All right, I love doing this because the energy just goes woo, doesn't it? Yeah, it's very nice. Welcome. So today we're talking about mind over matter. And by the way, I want to promote this book, Living the Science of Mind. It's Ernest Holmes' writings on his own textbook. And it's really, really good. It's usually each one of the chapters, if you call them chapters, is about 2 pages. And it's explanations for things that are like mystical in the book that you go, oh, that's what he was talking about. So mind over matter. How many of you believe mind over matter? All right, that's good. That's the reason you're here. But let's change that. It should be mind over mind. Mind over mind. Because everything is mind. Yeah? Mind over matter, though. Let's talk about some examples of that, because if we don't have concrete examples, it's hard for our mind to understand what that really means. For example, about 20 years ago, a study was done with monks from Tibet, and the study was around how they could control the bodily functions. So the way they decided to do this was hook them all up to all of the monitoring equipment, and then they go into meditation in a very small room, and they're doused with, they put a sheet over them, and they're doused with cold water. And then they drop the temperature in the room to 40 degrees. Anybody want to try that? Sounds kind of nasty, doesn't it? Yeah, today you would. So what took place? So what happened was within the first hour, the sheets began to steam because they were raising their body temperature. Within 4 hours, the sheets were dry. Their body temperature kept going up. The oxygen level in their body was going down as there was less oxygen in the room. Another experiment they did with the lamas, who are obviously experienced at this, is they put them in 2 isolation rooms. The isolation rooms were about 4 feet by 4 feet. So basically there was no place for them to go, and they couldn't get into their normal postures. And then they decided to turn down the oxygen level to 0 and see if they were able to survive. Anybody want to try that one? No. So what they did is they began to do their meditative work, and they slowed their respiration down, they slowed down their heart rate, and the monitors were showing barely anything in terms of heart rate or respiration. So the oxygen level after 8 hours was nearly the same as when they began, and the same with the carbon dioxide level. Can we control our bodies? Answer is yes. Another one is, and this is a favorite, how many of you know Larry Dossey? He's written a number of books. He's a medical doctor. He's been in metaphysics for many years. And he tells of the story when he was a doctor and his first assignment was in Louisiana. And he went to the, he was in the ICU area, and this man was dying, and he was questioning, okay, the family, what's going on? How did this happen? And they said, well, he went to a cemetery and he met a witch. And the witch told him he was going to die because she cast a spell on him because he had done something bad. Whatever the circumstance was, that's what was going on. Now, the other doctors in the room went, oh, yeah, right, okay, so let's figure out what's happening. They couldn't find anything wrong with him. Nothing. So Larry Dossey decided that what he could do is reverse the process. It's called a no placebo, or a not placebo. And the idea he got was he ran out to the store and he came back and he told the family he found the cure. So he went to the guy and he says, I've found the cure. And I talked to the lady who was the witch, and she cast a spell where you would have a dragon inside of you. And he said, and I can cure that. So what did he do? He had gone to the pet store and he got a little reptilian character. And he had it in his pocket. And so he said, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to take your stomach and I'm going to have to push really hard to get this thing out. And he would do that, and pretty soon out comes this lizard. The guy's eyes went wide and he goes, oh my God, I feel so good. See how the mind can be affected either way. Mind over matter. Matter, we know that the universe was created. It's 14 billion years old, roughly. The Earth is several billion years old. We know that it all started from the Big Bang, a singularity, and hydrogen turned helium, and so on and so forth, and we have matter all around us. Couple of things about that. First of all, matter is not actually something. Why is it not actually something? Well, in quantum physics, I keep going back to this concept, is as far as we can get to the point of measuring anything, there's nothing there to measure. You can go from molecules to atoms to electrons, photons, neutrons, down to quarks, musons, bosons, and all these little teeny particles that actually don't even exist. They can't even measure, they can measure the after effect of them. And even in string theory, or M theory, which is membrane theory, which has been popular for about 20 years now, that whole idea is everything is a vibrating string. That's kind of fascinating to me, because if you go back to the Vedas and their 3,000, 4,000-year-old writings, in there it says everything's a vibration. Well, everything's a vibration in string theory. The problem is they don't know how to figure out these strings and measure them. They can only do it mathematically. But they know that somewhere in there it starts from nothing and becomes something. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Everything started from nothing and became something. And actually, the truth of the matter is, everything came from something. Mind. Ernest Holmes is very clear in his writings that the whole universe is only consciousness. He talks about it in terms of common consciousness, or the collective consciousness, or universal mind. And then universal mind has an individualized part of that. Well, that's pretty powerful, because basically what he's saying is everything is mind. And he does say that towards the end of one of the writings, everything is mind. Now when we talk about healing and doing healing work and spiritual mind treatment, instead of the idea of trying to heal somebody of their physical problem or their mental problem and trying to manipulate what's going on with them, we need to change our perception of what's going on to realize what's going on in mind. We already know from Ernest's work that there's a perfect model for everything that already exists in universal consciousness. It's already perfect. There's a part of you, which is the astral body, they call it in some of the mystical terms, or in the mystical East they call it the astral body. That astral body is already perfect. It's already whole, it's already complete. This is where he kept going back and forth. You're whole, complete, and perfect. You're whole, complete, and perfect. Well, it may not appear that way in what we're looking at right now, but that tells us there's a disconnect in the mind between that perfection and what's going on. As we change our perception about what's going on to realize the perfection, then what's going on changes. Einstein and his famous equation basically says that energy and mass are identical and interchangeable. Energy doesn't energize mass, and mass doesn't energize energy, but the two are interchangeable. But what he's saying is it's actually the same thing. It's one and the same thing. So if energy and mass are the same thing, what is mass? Mass is a fancy way of saying in science how heavy is something. If you were to take a neutron star, which explodes and becomes about the size of maybe the city of St. Louis, if you were to take a teaspoon of that, the mass would be 1 trillion times the weight of the Earth. That's pretty astounding, isn't it? So all this physical stuff, though, is actually mental. And everything beyond what we call reality, which we think is one thing, is another, everything beyond that is mentation, process of mental work. So Ernest Holmes is saying, then if that's the case, then what we can do is we can change our own perception, change our own thinking, and change what's going on in our life. How many of you have tried the experiment where things aren't going right and you sit down, you take a breath, and you say, okay, I am just going to focus on what's good in my life. I'm going to focus on and be grateful for what's good in my life. Do that experiment when you have upset or depression or anxiety or something going on, and you do that repeatedly, and pretty soon you'll find your body functions beginning to change. You'll start feeling better. So if that's possible, if it's possible that the monks can change their body temperature, can change their respiration rate, not to mention the fact that there are yogis in India who have been in suspended animation, meaning they have gone into what's known as samadhi, and that they have been there for years. If that's possible, then isn't everything possible? So whatever's going on in your life, whatever is going on in your life, you can change it. You have the choice. Now, doesn't that put that responsibility directly in your hands? You get to do something about what's going on in your life. And you can change it. And you may want to study, but I get sometimes a little bit weirded out by the fact that we are a generation, or multiple generations, who are very intellectual and not very experiential. You need to experience this, not just hear it and make it another part of the mess upstairs. I don't know about you, but I'd like to evict a few. So the most important part of this whole talk about mind over matter, and by the way, the studies that I've finished reading with Bernardo Kossarop, talking about everything is mental, he gives extraordinary examples of how science has gone so far astray from the truth. And he talks that this really started probably around the 1600s, maybe the 1400s, when religion and science began to split. And he said pretty soon in that split, that divergence that happened, where many religions, I mean almost all the religions on earth, all said that everything is a part of everything else. Like I always talk about the Hopi. Grandmother Spider Woman wove the great web of the universe. And anywhere in that web that you touch, it affects everything else in that web. Well, that's true in all of the great religions. They talk about that. But not true in Western science. In Western science, we are separate beings having separate experiences in a separate world. And how's that worked out for us? Greed, corruption, anxiety, depression, you name it, there's all kinds of things. What's the reason for that? Because we feel separate from everything else. That isolation, and we've had some experience with that in the last couple of years, that isolation doesn't do much for us unless you can meditate, change your temperature, and reduce the oxygen level. We are all connected. Our mind gets fed with information and has been for the last 200 years that actually we're completely separate from everything else. The stars create the elements that created your body. This body-mind that's going on right here is created in this cabal called the universe. If it's universal mind and it's all mental, everything can be changed, including you. When we do prayer work, part of what we're doing in the prayer work is we're trying to talk ourselves into the belief. We're not talking to anybody out there in the sky, you know, the Santa Claus God who's judging us. We're not beseeching that. We're actually talking to ourselves. We're talking to ourselves because higher consciousness is listening. Always. Did you hear me? Always. What moves in higher consciousness shows up in your life. Now, just because you talk bad or have some, you feel bad, it just passes through, the ego passes constant thoughts. Constant thoughts are not going to generate. The thoughts that generate are the thoughts with feeling and emotion behind them. They generate into the world. So when you're doing your prayer work, the idea is to move yourself into higher consciousness by talking yourself into the place of feeling that. When you feel that, then the intention that you have is already known in higher consciousness. Because why? It's listening all the time. So it already knows your intention. But the intention isn't enough. It needs mass. It needs energy. And when that happens, the universe begins to shake. And things begin to change. When Western medicine became part of the Western science culture, it became, you have a body separate from everybody else's body. Your body is separate from the earth. Everything is separate and has to be treated that way. Everything became mechanical. And you know what Larry Dossey found was, in a significant number of the cases that he treated over his career, the only thing people really needed was to be heard. Let me listen to what's going on with you. What do you got going on? Yeah. And he said, that's a connection. That connection point begins to generate better feelings. We can all do this for ourselves. We can do it for our friends and family. We can do it for the world. We've seen this happen with meditation programs back, I think it was in the early 80s, where they went to Washington, D.C., and 1,000 or 2,000 people meditated, and violence went down. Violence went down. It's been done in Europe a number of different times. But if all you're paying attention to is the negative stuff you hear all day long from your friends and the gossip wagon and the television and whatever else that's feeding you. If that's what's feeding you, whoa, you better change that right away. And start getting connected. Get connected to other people, to friends, family, not on YouTube and not on Facebook and not on Instagram and not on Twitter, and I don't know how many others there are. Because that further isolates you, not connects you. What does it connect? It connects the mental chatter between people. And most of that chatter is ego chatter. You have a power within you to change your life and change the life of everybody around you and change the world. If it's all mental, then my God, we got a tool that's better than anything else. I'm not pointing to the brain or my lack of hair. I'm pointing to the fact that the brain is not your mind. It's a control mechanism. Your mind is much greater than that, but in material science, they can't figure that part out. How is the mind generated from the brain? There are examples. I was just telling somebody the other day, one of the great examples that I saw in one of the science magazines, neuroscience magazines, was about this man who had lived his life for 60-some years, seemed extraordinarily normal, and that one day he had this grueling headache, and he said, I better go to the doctor because I've never been sick. He goes to the doctor, and the doctor asks him all these questions. He says, well, I'm going to put you into an fMRI. It's for scanning and looking at brain blood flow and so on. They did that, and they were shocked. They sent him to 2 more imaging places. They got 4 more doctors involved because they could only find something the size of a pea for his brain. What does that tell us? That's pretty astonishing, isn't it? That his small pea brain literally was able to function completely as a normal big mass that we have. What is it, 11 pounds or something in our head? Isn't that astonishing? That's only one thing. The mind, the brain is an amazing instrument in itself. Neuroplasticity. There was a lady, a young woman who was having epileptic fits, and you know how for a long time they took care of epileptic fits as they would cut out portions of the brain. Well, they did that for her at the Cleveland Institute, Cleveland Clinic, and she was fine. She's a concert piano player by the time she was 6. And when they cut that section of the brain out, which is the right hemisphere, which is the creative side, she was fine. Within a week, she was back playing and doing concerts. Then she had an epileptic fit again. Back she goes. The clinic says, it's moved to a different section. They removed that section. Shorten the story, they removed the entire right side of her brain. And they were astonished, as everybody would be, that she went on playing exactly the way she did before. Finally, they were able to determine after several years of study that when she was very young, maybe a year old, she had measles. And the measles caused such a high temperature that it damaged the right side of her brain. So the left side took over the operations of the right side. So the brain can figure out how to do this kind of thing. It too is pretty smart. It's also mental. So if that's possible, and we got monks that are doing what they're doing, and I mean the stories, you can find stories in all these books that we have in the bookstore about people that have been healed time and time again, then the first thing you need to change is your belief that it can't happen. Second thing you need to change and move to is everything is possible. And a third thing you need to understand is you have all the power and the choice. Yes? Yes? Good. If you have any questions, ask Mary Jean. She'll answer. There's a question. Good. What's your question? Ooh, good question. We're going to save that for next time. Actually, it's a really specific thing to understand about where the soul operates from. The soul, as invisible as it is, operates from just beside the heart here in this area near the sternum. And operates, I mean, that's what is the electrical plug-in to the rest of the universe. And so we're connected via that. It has a very specific visual coloring, which is a blue coloring. So there's a lot about that we don't understand, but some of the stuff that's really exciting is that they're finding out that the heart has cellular structures similar to the brain, and that it's directly connected into this area, which means the soul has input into what's going on in our mind, which is not localized in our head, in our mind. So thanks for that. And that's really important. Yeah. Is there any difference between soul and spirit? I'm not sure, because soul is used in a lot of different ways, and so is spirit. So it's hard to say, pinning it down. I wish this was a Sanskrit language. There's only one definition for each word. Makes it really simple. So this is why it's good to get into the class like with Michael Singer, is because some of this he covers in terms of soul and soul action, and what does that mean, and what does it mean that everything is mental, and how does it work, and how do we practice it? Why do we have to do meditation? I love the fact that he was the first one that said that if you have to effort at meditation, it's not meditation, it's exercise. Yeah? So meditation is relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, so that the heart, the soul, can begin to feed information to us. And if there's anything I know about what's happening in the world today, is we're pretty disconnected from our souls. Yeah? So there may be only a string left between them, but we need to change that. Tom? One more and then we got to go.
I think it's important to emphasize that when you talk about mind over matter, it's not my little mind changing some little thing out in the world by my personal force. What we're talking about in mind is aligning our consciousness and our mental processes with the truth.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we are clearing up whatever is out of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. So what he's saying is what we're doing is we're not trying to change the world out there by our will of force. We're not trying to change that. We're trying to align ourselves with consciousness, higher consciousness, aligning ourselves with higher consciousness to be in that alignment that we're supposed to be in and are in when we're born, and are until we get domesticated into the belief systems that are all around us. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Wow. Wasn't that good? You may have to go online and read it again, listen to it again. Would our prosperity receivers please come forward? And Marcia Shear, would you please come up? Because Marcia Shear has announcement for us. And I want to acknowledge right now, Sherry Lease, who's going to be doing the bowls, just celebrated her 50-year anniversary of being married to the same guy. Yeah. Sherry, come on up so you can start getting ready. And we're gonna let the. I'm gonna put these both in the basket, and let's just bless the gift and the giver, knowing that it's the power of God in action. And I give thanks And so it is.
Hi. You guys can go ahead.
Sure.
I'll give you more time to impromptu. I'm Marcia Shear. I'm on the Leadership Council, and I asked Mary Jean if I could talk about why I'm an automated giver. A long time ago, in a land far, far away, not really, it was Columbia, Illinois, but a member in the congregation at my former church stood up in front of us and said why he puts money in the offering plate every week regardless of whether he's there or not. And honestly, I was young, it didn't make sense, and I was kind of offended, and now I don't even know why I was offended. I think I just don't like people telling me what to do. But, his message must have gotten through to me, because I eventually started to donate even when I wasn't at service. Because I realized that the expenses continue, like electricity, water, sewer, trash, salaries, insurance, internet, maintenance, parking lots, etc. So fast forward many, many years, and I miraculously discovered CSL, which I am so thankful for. And I always put a donation in a plate, including for weeks that I wasn't there. If the next week I put money in for the week I missed. And then I took one of the many classes that CSL offers, and Marcia Walton gave us the opportunity to be an automated giver. And so I eventually signed up, and I'm so glad I did, because instead of sitting there and writing a check out during service or the night before, it's just automatic and it's easy. And that was even before I became a leadership council member. And I want to jump in here too. They also taught me about unexpected income. So we went to the racetrack last night, and I won money. So this morning I went and donated some money for the parking lot in the bookstore. So. But it fills my heart with love to know that I'm just supporting this ministry that supports the truth of who we are, and it helps us spread the message to the world, and it just makes me so happy. And I know that as I give, it has returned to me, because I made this donation, and unexpectedly, Mary Jean and Michelle turned around and gave me an unexpected present. So it's oh, it was Marcia. Okay. It's just the way it works. It's just an example. It was quite a shock this morning. But I know that as I give, it's returned to me. I know that my gifts flow through me from the divine, and I am blessed as I spread those gifts back out into the universe. It's a universal principle. And I just got this quote out of a book. I trust the world overflows with abundance and blessing, which flows to me effortlessly. So I encourage you to consider becoming an automated giver. And if it doesn't resonate with you at this time, I'm the last person to judge. But you can control the donation yourself, although Marcia Walton would be happy to manage it for you if you prefer. And you can go to our website, stlewiscsl.net, click on More Than Donate, and you can have the money withdrawn from your checking, PayPal, or credit debit card. Or you can fill out this form that we have on the back table back there. But I just love that I'm supporting the ministry that is supporting me. And I just hope you consider it. If you become an automated giver, I hope it brings joy to your heart like it does for me. Thank you.
All right. We got some guitar coming through there, right, Tim? Let's hear for Tim Lilly doing the sound back there, too. Thank you, sir. Pookie's going to be up here momentarily. Oh, boy, we're kind of, we might go a little bit over today. She's going to be up here. We're going to do a brand new song for you. We're also going to tell you about an event that we're doing for the first time this coming Tuesday night. But first, as some of you know, during the main talks here, I take notes. And I guess because I'm a musician, I can remember the main themes of the talk by putting them into a musical form. So I took some of the highlights from Larry's talk today, turned it into a little blues song, and it goes something like this. When I'm here on Sunday, I couldn't be gladder. Larry talked about mind over matter. We heard about research with the llamas. I think I'd rather be in the Bahamas. This is your Mind Matter Blues, Mind Over Matter song. You can get off track with your perception and not realize your perfection. When you need a change in attitude, just focus on gratitude. This is your Mind Matter song, your Mind Over Matter song. Life can be so cold, and it can feel like a blizzard. Until that is, you have a witch remove the lizard from your gizzard. This is your Mind Matter song, Mind Over Matter song. This is your Mind Matter song. Your llama's in the Bahamas, perception, perfection, attitude of gratitude, lizard from your gizzard, Mind Over Matter song. Oh, yeah. There's a couple of notes I wrote down. Come on, good note taking. Did I summarize it pretty well, Larry? Yes. All right. Lizard and gizzard. That was a real gift. All right. Real quickly, just want to let you know this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here in this room, the 14th of June, Pookie and I are debuting a new concept in a meetup. It's called the High Vibe Tribe.
Come on down.
That's right. It's all about just, there's just so much, if you watch the news, you know what time that makes you feel. We all have challenges in our life. This is an opportunity to get together in another forum and just raise our vibration. We're going to have some laughs, probably play a little bit of music, and just have some lively discussion. So we invite you. There's no fee. We will ask for a love donation to cover the room and
support CSL.
Yeah, absolutely. So we would love for you to join us. High Vibe Tribe, Tuesday, June 14th, 7 p.m. start time. About 90 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. Brand new song.
Oh, I love this song. This is Bob's song. Bob wrote this song. It's great. I love it.
And it came,
So amazing.
we had a little getaway in Tennessee a couple of weeks ago and kind of fleshed this song out. So I think you might like it. It's a little funky.
Oh, yeah. I love it when it's funky.
No matter what happens in my life, I know I'm living the dream. Like when I'm driving in my car and all the lights are green. Everything is always working out for me. Say it again. Everything is always working out for me. Sometimes my blessings get covered up and they're hard to find. But even when the sky is gray, I know the sun still shines. Everything is always working out for me. Sing it again. Everything is always working out for me. In the dark of night,
in the light of day,
when I lose myself,
when I find my way,
in the dark of night,
in the light of day,
when I lose myself,
when I find my way,
in the dark of night,
in the light of day,
when I lose myself,
when I find my way,
in the dark of night,
in the light of day,
when I lose myself.
When I find my way, I know everything's alright. Everything's alright.
When I open up my heart, abundance flows to me. I accept all life's ups and downs. That's how it's supposed to be. Sing it now. Everything is always, come on, working out for me. I'll sing it again. Everything is always working out for me. Sing it with us now. Everything is always working out for me. Sing it again. Everything is always working out for me. You know it's working out for me. That's right. It's working out for me. Always working out for me.
Oh yeah, baby, always.
Woo! Pokey and Bob. Whoa! We're going to take a quick minute or two to go into prayer, and then we're going to have your closing song. So if you could just close your eyes for a moment as Sherry moves us into the cathedral. Imagine we're in the Himalaya mountains and it's really warm. And we're in a temple, and we're one of the lamas. Well, if the prayer team would come forward and hold everybody in consciousness with me. Knowing there's one energy, one force, one intelligence, one life. That life divine is my life and your life right now. Right now, let's shift our thinking into what it is we want to see in this world. If we have a friend or somebody that we have been concerned about, call their name out and we'll put them in prayer right now. Todd, Anna, Justin. Now call out your name, Mary Jane. For I know that power and intelligence and energy of spirit right now knows exactly what's for the highest and greatest good of everyone's name who's been called out. And that right now we let go of any idea to the contrary and know the Spirit is working in them, in us, for greater good. That we're expanding our consciousness to perceive the ever-presence of Spirit. That we're allowing peace and love to be our life. Allowing that abundance of the universe to flow through us. Allowing us to give graciously and gratefully for all that we have. So I just bless today's gathering. I bless each one of us as we go forth into this world making a difference. And I declare and accept that each person here is going to be at our Ukraine festival. And that it is filled with amazing people in our new parking lot, having fun, eating, drinking, and laughing, and listening to music and watching dance. I see it complete. I see it filled with chairs. And I know each one of us is a part of that. I accept our world living in peace. I accept that now, knowing the peace begins with me. I bless each one of us to our highest and greatest good. And so I let it be. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, married lady, for 50 years. I can't even imagine someone being married for 50 years.
We're for closing song?
Closing song.
Any members of the Big Love Choir who know Opening Up to the Good, which is, you're welcome to come up here. Come up here and join us. We're going to start, I think you might see them up here a little more often here.
Let's stand and sing along
please
with
stand. Let's get physical. I am opening up to the good. I am opening up to the good. I am opening up to the good. To the good that is my life. Joy. I am opening up to the joy. I am opening up to the joy. I am opening up to the joy that is my life. Peace, I am opening up to the peace. I am opening up to the peace. I am opening up to the peace that is my life. Love, I am opening up to the love. I am opening up to the love. I am opening up to the love that is my life. Opening, I am 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 opening to the good that is my life. Opening, I am 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 opening to the good that is my life. To the good that is my life. To the good that is my life.
Yay! In our closing affirmation, we'll say together, today I choose to see the divine everywhere. Be blessed today. I'll see you over in Scott Hall for our